Hello, and welcome to the 226th edition of Beer Issues. My name is Matt Bruckert, and I'm coming to you live here from Casa de Bruckert. We're going to be having another outstanding beer. And when I say outstanding beer, today we're going to be having one of only 11 of the Trappist breweries in the world. We're going to be having one of their beers, Spencer. Spencer is the only Trappist ale that is made in the United States. Spencer is made in Spencer, Massachusetts, I should say. So let's go ahead and talk about this while we pour it. This beer is rated 90 out of 100, which makes it outstanding. And the beer is a Belgian-style pale ale, Trappist. So Trappist, as we've discussed before, means that it's made and supervised by monks, okay? And look at that beautiful golden color with that beautiful head. Now I reserved this chalice that we're drinking out of, the Trappist Rochefort, for Trappist beers. So I don't have a Spencer cup, so we're going to drink it out of much revered Trappist Rochefort glass. But if you see, that is a picture of beautiful right there. That beautiful golden orangish color, beautiful white head with just the perfect amount. It's retaining well. I can already see around the edges that it's starting to have some lacing. So we're right on track. Now this beer clocks in at 6.5% alcohol by volume. So perfect for a pale ale. Now I will say that pale ales are not necessarily one of my favorite beers, but this beer, phenomenal. A lot of in America or the United States, they make pale ales. A lot of them more like an IPA than a pale ale. I think they overhop them a little bit instead of focusing on the quality yeast that should go into it. This beer focuses on good quality yeast and the proper amount, in my opinion, for a pale ale, the proper amount of hops, okay? So let's waste no more time. Let's smell it and talk about it, okay? Now this beer was inspired by the Pater's beer, or in Flemish, I think that means the father's beer. So it is also unfiltered and unpasteurized, okay? And it is it has live yeast, which carbonates the beer in the bottle. So the live yeast is what does all the carbonation in the bottle. So they don't have to force carbonate it. In other words, it's all done naturally. And that's part of the things that the monks do. They've been doing this for, the monks have been doing it for thousands of years. They know how to make beer. Oh my goodness. So the thing I love about sitting and smelling a good Belgian beer, especially a Belgian Trappist ale that was made properly, is you get that good, great smell of that Belgian yeast, which almost gives it like a bread right at the beginning when it's starting to bake. That smell you get that out of this beer. And then at the end on this one, I'm getting a sweetness, almost like a pear, if you will. Oh, it's just so heavenly. And this beer just started getting imported into Florida. I've been wanting to get this beer for a long time, but they did not import into Florida, so I have not been able to get it. But I had it before, but it was when I was in Boston, Massachusetts, going on a trip. We flew through Boston, and I had the opportunity to have this on tap, and it was delicious, and I have been trying to get it ever since. But finally, it's here in Florida, so I'm happy. So let's go ahead and taste this beer and see if the taste follows the smell there. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this, But in this, there's little swirls of like the residual yeast that's in there. Like I said, this is unfiltered, unpasteurized. So you'll see things like that, like the swirls of the residual yeast that are left in there. But this is just an absolutely beautiful beer. Now, they rate this 90 out of 100, and I myself would give it a higher rating than that. I would put it right up, probably 95, I would say. It's just, for the style of beer, it is so spot on. And like I said, in the United States, when you see a pale ale, 90% of the time with the pale ales in the United States, they're going to be, you wouldn't be able to distinguish them between pale ale and an India Pale Ale, which is going to be typically a lot more hoppy. This, I think they focused on both the types of hops that they use, a little bit lighter hop with the addition of that great Belgian yeast to just make perfection. For this style of beer, this is one of the best that I've had. And I'm really excited that we're able to get this in Florida now, just because this is something, not an everyday drinker, because the price is a little bit up there. But if you think about it this way, you're probably talking about $3.75 a beer, buying it at the liquor store, okay? Now, how many beers can you really buy that are $3.75 when you're out that are halfway decent beers? So as long as you drink it at home. But I would guarantee if you were to find this in a restaurant, if you could find it, you're probably looking at $9 or $10, okay? But you can buy it at the store. I think I paid $14.99 for a 4-pack, which would put it about the $3.75 or whatever it is per beer, or something like that. But outstanding beer. If you see Spencer now that it's here in Florida, buy it, but don't buy too much of it, because I want to be able to buy more too. So don't hog it all up so I don't get any. If you've enjoyed this, make sure you tell your friends about Beer Issues and how much fun we're having talking about and drinking great beer. If you want any cool Beer Issues gear, make sure you go to shop.beerissues.com. And as my wife likes to say, I have beer issues.